Hi and welcome everybody. Welcome to this webinar on GDPR. Hang on, let me just get my line. Okay, sorry about that. Hi, my name is Christophe Gobbes and I will be taking you through this presentation on GDPR. With me here together with me is Christophe Balduc, who is the managing partner for Datatrust Associates. Datatrust Associates is a company specialized in data protection, privacy, ethics, and trust. Welcome, Christophe. Thank you. So, quick look at the agenda. We will be spending a couple of slides on the GDPR introduction. What is it exactly? And then we will quickly go through our unique combined approach that we take on implementing GDPR. Afterwards, we have a small talk on Micropool and Datatrust, two companies, and at the end, you will have 5 minutes of time to ask your questions to either myself or Christophe. So I now pass on the word to Christophe, who will take you through the GDPR legislation.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome on GDPR webinar. So GDPR, I think most of you probably have heard the term. New General Data Protection regulation in Europe, replacing all the national legislations and the old directive. Lots of things to do on GDPR, as you can see on the right-hand side. A lot of principles to take into account, from knowing the legal grounds, consent, purpose limitation, privacy by design, by default, things around data transfers, retention periods, classification of data, data subject rights, all these topics to be taken into account. And 25th of May is a hard deadline there for next year. And I see it's actually next year. It's not 2017, it's 18. But it gives us about 266 working days remaining. That may seem a lot, but it's a huge task for many companies to get GDPR compliant, or at least to look at the risk-based approach, and at least get those risks under control. So it seems like a lot of time, but actually it is quite limited amount. So lots of topics on your road to compliance. These are all topics that both Micropool and Datatrust Associates can help you with. You've probably seen a number of these. If you have any questions, feel free to ask either at the end of the webinar or afterwards. Feel free to send an email. But these are all of the topics that we can help you with, and we'll go in depth on the approach right away, and an approach that I think will benefit you as well as a company. So the unique approach is around what we call the trust model, and in GDPR and with the exponential increase of data, trust is going to be the vital factor. Trust is really about making sure that your customers trust you, but also your employees trust you, and any type of data subject trusts you in doing business with you, in having any relationship with you. And I will show why that is important in a second. The unique approach here is that when dealing with GDPR, try to not only look at it from a regulatory compliance. GDPR will force you into investing in a number of things, like information and data management, like retention, archiving, process optimization, a whole bunch of things. You will see them right away. But doing so will also benefit you in getting other topics from the agenda. And that means when you invest smart in your GDPR compliance, you can increase customer centricity, 360 view, operational excellence, analytics, all the way up to advanced analytics, social responsibility. There's a whole bunch of topics that make your business case around GDPR. So don't necessarily do GDPR only for doing GDPR. If you do it in a smart way, you will have your company benefit from a lot of other topics that might have been in the fridge for a while, or which you are working on today. Now, typically what we see is that, and that's in any big project or compliance topic, you look into processes, technology, people, and organization to make sure you are compliant. Whether you do that for customer centricity, social responsibility, regulatory compliance, GDPR, Basel, solvency, any of those things. These are a number of dimensions you always see coming back. What we see is that the enabler for all of these four topics, including GDPR, is information management and data management disciplines. If you don't manage your information right, you're never going to be able to manage your personal information right. So that is really a crucial element in your road to GDPR. So make sure that the maturity in terms of information and data management, and that includes master data management, data quality, metadata management, governance of information, that maturity is really high, because that will ease up the compliance with GDPR. And when we talk to companies who have a high maturity in terms of information and data management, their road to the 25th of May next year is much easier than companies who have a low maturity there. So this is something, it's a key enabler, and it will enable, as I mentioned, all the other topics as well. I'll go back straight to the center, and there you can see that ethics and trust is really, really important. So when you gain trust from your customers, from your data subjects, it will make life easier in a GDPR context as well. And basically, to show you that, we understand that trust is directly related to a number of business KPIs, like customer lifetime value, churn, conversion rates of your customers, but also retention of your employees. So all these KPIs that you have, and which you can obviously communicate also to your board members and to your VPs, are directly related to trust. And what we see with GDPR is that GDPR puts the data subject, whether it's a customer, your employee, or any other data subject you take into account and you have a relationship with, they put them in a stronger position. Now, a lack of trust combined with GDPR is going to be very easy for that data subject to go to the competition, because there's portability. Just like in the telco, he or she can now take its data and just move it to the competition, at least a part of that data. Easy right to be forgotten, right to access, a whole bunch of rights, and for the data subjects that will make it much more crucial to gain that trust and to have trust from your data subjects, whether it's a customer, an employee, a vendor contact, that doesn't necessarily matter. So really important that you gain trust, and that's exactly where Micropole and Datatrust Associates can help you with, in not just doing GDPR, but doing GDPR sustainable, making sure that by the 25th of May we don't say, okay, we're compliant and then now let's see what happens. No, making sure that we can benefit from this GDPR investment as well. Now, how do these two companies work together? As you can see, at a typical strategic, tactical, and operational level, Datatrust Associates will help you and can help you with getting the strategy and the tactics up and running. It's crucial to have a privacy strategy that's linked to your business and your data strategy. We see a lot of companies without a privacy strategy who are running around and lots of initiatives around GDPR, but it's all not coherent. If you have a privacy strategy, you will be able to say, okay, how deep are we going to go in certain of the topics, certain of those principles? How deep are we going to document, for instance, all our data processing activities? Is that going to be on a level 0, very high level processes, or are we going to go down really deep into the nitty-gritty details of every process in every system? So that level of depth which you will take will depend on your privacy strategy. It's really important to understand that and to communicate that to your entire organization, because it will determine how you implement GDPR. That's the level, obviously, roadmaps, connecting that to your existing projects, making sure it's a benefit for your company, and that's where we meet Micropole, obviously, who are the people that run the entire operations, that look into accelerators that can actually execute on getting their hands dirty and making sure that we reuse as much as possible of your current infrastructure and solutions, and where need be, we can work with accelerators to speed up the implementation of GDPR. So, very short, the services here, Datatrust Associates, again, the combination of information data management and privacy and protection is crucial. Information data management, the higher your maturity, the easier it will be for you to become GDPR compliant. So that's why the services here, will not go through all of them, but are combined. Obviously, ethics is really important. Trust, making sure that whatever you want to do with that data, and we've had some companies crossing the border of what you can do with ethics and data. Even an insurance company in the UK a few months ago took psychometrics data to determine whether you could get a discount or not. This is, for instance, that was a big ethical issue. We'll see those ethical issues arise more and more, because with GDPR, people will be much more aware of the data they have, what you can do and what you cannot do with their data. So ethics is going to be really important. Again, the trust factor is there, a crucial item. Then obviously training and events, that's important as well, to get you and your employees up and running with GDPR.
Yes, thank you, Christophe. When looking at the core offering, let's say, of Micropool, this is the slide that we have been using for the last couple of years. So this is another slide that we just created for this GDPR offering. It's basically the base offering, let's say, of Micropool. And from day one, actually, data governance has been at the center of our offering, meaning we believe that using data more, maybe at the start more in a BI context, is crucial. Getting the data right, understanding the data, knowing where it comes from, who governs the data, has always been a key part of our offering. And obviously, this fits really nice in our association with Datatrust, because obviously they have more, let's say, the legal background, the strategic and the ethical aspects within their business and their offering, and we can comply by offering data governance capabilities. What do we understand around data governance? That's master data management, data quality, metadata management, data governance solutions, business catalogs. All of that we consolidate into our data governance offering. And as Christophe obviously also said, once you have a decent information management infrastructure into place, it opens up the opportunities for digital transformation, performance management, and process optimization. So we strongly believe in our collaboration with Datatrust, and together we can really offer you a near end-to-end solution for getting GDPR compliance. So we are very excited about that.
Yes, adding to that, if I may, Christophe,
Sure.
is obviously the importance of data governance and the GDPR roles. GDPR, you will have a DPO, you'll probably have a team around that, you might have local compliance officer, and the interaction between those local compliance officers, your DPO team, and the owners and managers of the data, your data stewards that are all part of data governance, that interaction is going to be crucial. You don't want to have a conflict of interest there, where you have your owner of data who is not agreeing with your retention policy or a policy around data, versus your DPO who says, yes, but this is a legislation, I have to do this. So that interaction is crucial, and that's actually also where we try to help you in solving that, in solving those issues.
Exactly. Okay, then unique end-to-end offering, Christophe?
Yep. So as you can see, this is obviously a very high-level approach towards GDPR. It all starts with a scan. You need to know what is your data, what is the scope of your personal data, what is personal data in my company, and the scope, as you might know, is really, really wide. I think 80% to 85% of all big data sets contains some kind of personal data. Program, end-to-end program management. I think the collaboration here shows that we can provide you with an end-to-end implementation, whether that be in program or project, in terms of GDPR, including the legal part, including strategic statistical part and the operations, so doing end-to-end. Guidance, implementation, but also filling some gaps. If you have some questions, obviously that can be done as well. If you say, okay, we already have a program, we just need just asking some questions here and there, and we have some issues to tackle. And obviously maintenance. And maintenance is really important. And I mentioned it already in the beginning. The 25th of May in 2018 will not be the end of GDPR. It will be the start of GDPR. And projects in GDPR tend to end at that date, a lot of them. Doing this in a sustainable manner and doing it in a smart way will allow you to much more easily maintain GDPR as well, because at that point in time you'll have to comply with these topics, and you'll get the requests from the data subjects, but probably also from other companies and possibly even from the data protection office.
Maybe also important to add on that, on the maintenance aspect, what we also see is that the legislation is being translated, let's say, to national laws, and new directives coming in from, for example, in Belgium, from the Privacy Commission. And what we also see is that this refines maybe the legislation it is today. So it's important to keep track of these changes, and which will probably also go beyond May 2018. So if you don't have, let's say, a maintenance system in place to capture these changes, you can also run the risk of being non-compliant at one point in time. So that's why it's crucial to not only look at it as a one-off project where you need to get compliant, a bit sort of like the Y2K bug, let's say, but that we also install a true information management competence center, let's call it, that keeps track on one hand on the legal side, and on the other hand also on new project using personal data and how to deal with that. So that's I think also very important to mention on this slide. So quickly, a couple of words about Micropool. Micropool is an organization with around 1,100 employees. We are active in around 7 countries in the world, so they're listed there. And I think in 2016 we ended with a total group revenue of a bit over 100 million euros. We're also on the French stock exchange, so you can look at our numbers there. When we look at Belgium, we're with about 90 consultants spread over 3 locations, Zaventem, Ghent and Liège. And we operate also in Luxembourg from Belgium. When we look at our differentiators, which is maybe important, so why would you pick Micropool over any other integrator and service provider? First of all, we have a broad international experience in information management and data governance. Our practice in France currently has 90 dedicated 83 specialists in information management. There was also around 5 to 10 in Belgium that are specialized really in true information management implementation, being master data management, data quality, and also installing true quality frameworks. We have the advantage that we are vendor and tool agnostic, meaning we look at your infrastructure, we see what vendors you are already working with, and based on that we will make an assessment to find the best match to cover the gaps that you might have in being GDPR compliant, and we will give you an independent advice. For me this is really a crucial aspect, because there's a lot of vendors coming to you with their solution, and it's quite difficult to look at really what is needed and what functionalities are missing, and that is something where we can truly deliver an added value. Next to being true vendor independent, we do have obviously good relationships with the top information management vendors like SAP, like IBM, like Informatica, like Talent, all of these vendors that can truly help you with your information assets. And there we have really good relationships, and we can really get you the support you need if you really not run into specific problems. So that's where we can also provide an added value. We already did quite some high-profile projects for implementing MDM. For example, in Belgium we have Dietre, we have pharma companies that I can't mention, but where we did NDM projects, so that's we do have a proven track record, let's say, in implementing these types of projects. We combine, I would say, our business knowledge with technical expertise. We also have a BI background, so obviously if you're into BI, you also develop your business knowledge and your vertical expertise, which we then can combine with our technical knowledge on these information management toolings. Looking at our customer base, as you can see, we don't have specific verticals where we focus on. We have quite a broad customer base in the different sectors that you can see there. I'm not going to go obviously over all of these customers. It's just to give you an idea that we are a really well-developed partner and strong player in the BI and data governance market.
Yeah, just 2 words on Datatrust Associates. I think 15 people, young company, but a company with top experts on data privacy and data protection. Unfortunately, we see lots of companies raising up on GDPR. This is a topic where we've been involved in for a few years now. Some of us have been involved in there for 15 or 20 years in the world of data privacy and data protection, and the link with data and information management. So top experts understanding also what's behind the GDPR, providing services in Belgium, UK, Ireland, also with the Data Protection Forum, which is completely non-for-profit, and we'll see a meetup of that in 2 or 3 slides on that, which is a free event that you will all be invited to. As I mentioned, experience resources, information data driven. We focus on data privacy and protection. It's not just an additional selling topic. No, it's our core business, and obviously the angle here is data and trust, and obviously the ethics as well. So that's important to understand. We don't necessarily do the implementations itself. That's where we have we trust Micropool is a perfect party to do that. And also vendor agnostic, so we will not have any license fees or anything on that. We are completely neutral on that side, trying to reuse as much as possible from your side. Reuse your solutions, reuse your people, and rather reconfigure them, train them, than to buy a lot of new tools. Okay. As I mentioned, we have a meetup in Evere, Brussels, on the 23rd of May, 2 days before the -1 birthday of GDPR. It's a free event, obviously for customers and prospects. So feel free to subscribe there. We'll send you the slides with the link, so no worries there. You can also go to meetup.com, and then in Brussels on that date, you will see that the event is there. We'll also be speaking about GDPR there, together with Johan van Driesche and some other very experienced persons on GDPR. It will go about the practicalities into the practicalities of dealing with GDPR. So it's not an explanation of what GDPR is. It's more about, okay, you are doing GDPR. Now, what are the practical challenges you see? What are the questions that arise, and how to solve them? And there's going to be three 20-minute, very short 20-minute sessions, and then there's an hour for you to ask questions to an expert panel. So if you have questions, feel free to come by, and you can ask them on the panel. I'm sure you'll learn a lot from the other companies who have questions as well there.
Okay, and we also have a live event Micropool will be hosting on June 15th. That will take place in the Van der Valk Hotel in Zaventem. It's half a day pretty much, where we will give a short GDPR introduction, a bit more in detail as we did today, but really short, because I think most of the people are getting familiar with the new legislation. And next to that, we will also be having 2 speakers, one from IBM and one from Informatica, where they will explain how their tool stack can provide an answer towards GDPR compliance. So it gives you an idea as to how the market is responding from a software side on these new challenges. And we also have a live panel discussion where you can ask your questions. So that session is probably going to be a bit more technical, let's say on solution side. But yet again, I think it's really interesting to already have an idea. Okay, what are the solutions our vendors are offering, and maybe already looking at your own company and to see, okay, where are the gaps that I might need to fill in. And we will also be organizing a GDPR bootcamp. That's Micropole and Datatrust together, where we'll give you, and this is going to take place on July 13th and 14th in Vilvoorde at the business faculty. And that 2-day training will really focus on getting your hands a bit dirty. So the first day will be giving a more in-depth introduction on the entire legislation, and the second day we will be using use cases from actual real-life situations, and with questions as to how you can resolve some of the issues you will be facing. We will also look at the people who register for this event, so we can really tailor the content to your specific needs and to your specific sector. So that's, I think, that event will be paying, but we will be posting the details to you shortly, either via email or on our website. Should you be interested in attending any of these last two events, feel free to send an email to the email address over there, and you can already pre-register for those two events. So we're looking forward to that. I think we're right on time, so this still gives us, let's say, a couple of minutes for any questions you may have. So please feel free to ask your questions regarding this slide deck that you just saw. Maybe first question from me, Christophe. How do you feel the market evolving and the maturity, let's say, of organizations in Belgium, and how they look at GDPR, and what the status is, and what the sense of urgency, let's say, is at this point in time?
Well, it's obviously on the agenda of most boards and most companies. There's still a lot of fuss with some companies in terms of what exactly is it, and how deep or how profound do we have to implement this, and how hard are the penalties going to be. That's still a bit vague for a lot of companies. Some companies we see running around in all directions. So we like to more promote kind of a structured approach, making sure that the benefit that goes into that is well earned. And basically, I think the awareness is there, the knowledge, that's going to be the next step. So we expect a lot of companies to invest in this from September on. But as an advice, I would say start investing already today, because we do foresee a lack of resources, skilled resources from September on as well.
Yep. We also have a question from the audience, from Tatiana. Thanks for the question, which I think is a really interesting one. Can you give us an example on how you can increase trust with your customers using GDPR? Maybe some really practical examples as to what we mean by that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, in GDPR, you have a lot of these challenges and principles and things to do. And one of them is the right to the data subject. Instead of seeing that as a burden, okay, we have to give all the information of a person to that person, and we have about a month, maximum 2 months time. Instead of seeing it as a burden, we try to inverse that and bring trust to a customer. So be proactive on that side. That means that you just put out a My page, a My Privacy page for all of your data subjects, or at least your customers, but preferably all of them, and where you actually display what data you have about these customers. That will increase trust with your customer, because your customer will see, okay, this is the data that he or she, that the company has, and this is the reason why they have it, and that's also the impact when I would request to delete this data. The customer that can see what data you have from that customer will be much more likely to trust you, and will probably have less requests to ask for his data, because there is full transparency. So be proactive in everything that you do in GDPR towards your end customer and your data subjects, and that will only increase trust. So this My page is definitely one that.
Yeah, interesting example. Okay, looking at the time, we are going to round up, so we stick nicely within the 30 minutes. You can see our contact details right there on the screen. Should you have any questions, feel free to email or call us. We will also be posting the recording on YouTube and provide you with the link so you can send it to your colleagues should they be interested. And all that I have left to say is thank you very much, Christoph, for this excellent webinar, and hopefully we will be seeing you guys in real life in the near future at one of our events or in a face-to-face meeting if you are requesting that. So special thanks to everybody who attended, and we will be seeing you shortly.